Hi everyone and welcome back. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is not another playlist, but yes, I will be talking about one separate topic which is about Node.js microservices and 12 factor app. Okay, so I have a lot of playlists which talks about Node.js microservices and Nest.js, but what I want to do is I wanted to combine all these things together in terms of deployment, configuration, and making your application compatible with the 12 factor app. Okay, 12 factor app is nothing but a principles which you can apply on your microservices which you are writing either in the Java, Node.js, Express, Node.js, Nest.js, or any other particular framework. Okay, I mean 12 factor app principles applies. These are all 12 factor app principles, that your code base, dependencies, configurations, port binding, statelessness of your applications, a fast launch, deployment, CI/CD, graceful stop, log stream, and concurrency. Okay, we'll talk about all these 12 factor app principle in the context of Nest.js application, where I will be talking about okay, how you can segregate the environment, how you can write the migrations for each and every different environment, how you can make the configurations like dev and prod parity, where dev configurations are totally isolated from the production configuration. And we will talk about the deployment, all these things. Let's say these are the 12 factor principles. A code base should be tracked through the version control. Git, you might be using Git flow or GitHub Actions or CI pipelines. But version control like Git, you might be using now. You can be using either Bitbucket, GitLab, or GitHub, right? But the version control system is still Git. Dependencies. You should be explicitly declaring all your dev dependencies, like, because in the Node.js, Nest.js, or Express.js, we always define the dependencies. One production dependencies should not include the dev dependencies, right? Configurations, how to store the different configurations, different environment configurations, and how to apply build, release, run, right? Because strictly we have to separate stages: build, deploy, test processes, and execute the app as one or more stateless process. Do not combine the processes which can independently run, like scheduler, like one pub/sub task on your Node.js microservice. It has nothing to do with your main process. So you might create a stateless process independent to your master process. Part binding, port binding, like your service will expose a particular port. You might be communicating to different services on a particular port. And disposability, like graceful shutdown. Whenever what happens is your application is up and running but something bad happens, then you should be able to gracefully shut down your application. Shutting down the DB connection, shutting down the resource, and so that your process can be bootstrap again based on the logic which you have written. Either you are using PM2 process manager, or the Kubernetes pod will restart your process. Dev prod parity, keep development, staging, productions, testing environments similar as possible by keeping their configurations totally separate. Logs, treat logs as the event stream, because logs are important things about your process which tells a lot of things. So you might be using ELK stack, you might be using logstash, which is writing to the Elasticsearch, or you might be using the Node.js rollbar. I mean, there are a lot of different ways to capture the log stream coming from your Node.js process. Now, admin processes, which can turn on and off processes. Okay, these are just principles, but how we are going to tackle them? Okay, what we are going to do is we are going to work closely with the Node.js, Nest.js. We are going to see how you can write test cases. Okay, because I was going to have a separate videos about writing the Nest.js test cases, but like writing the test cases is also a part of 12 factor principles, which is making sure whatever you are building is a foolproof. Few additional things I will include here is, okay, you are writing a Node.js Express or Nest.js, how you can secure, how you can do the health check, how you can do the logging, how you can do the deployment on Heroku, right? How you can manage the migrations or migration of the database using TypeORM on different environments, right? How you can seed the database, how you can write the test cases like end-to-end test cases, unit test cases, by testing the actual APIs, how you can make mock the services, right? All these things I have already covered the advanced Nest.js course, but this playlist will touch on the deployment, building, like the building, testing, deployment, and also covers these 12 factor principles because we'll be deploying on Heroku and most probably on AWS. You will be writing the clean contract of the APIs. Let's say you are writing the REST API microservices. We will expose that interface and what all different external interface your application can talk to database, maybe Redis, maybe RabbitMQ, maybe Kafka. Those are the interfacing mediums, right? Those are like backing services for your API interface. So how you can optimally do the connections, how you can optimally bootstrap your applications, keeping your connection alive with all these external services. Okay, so all these things will revolve around a Nest.js. We will talk about basic fundamentals, basic application, then we will introduce the database, and we will consider microservice as a with database as a service, right? Because database per service, you will have a microservice that will have a database, how to manage the configurations, how to write the migrations, headers, how to do the testing, and then how to, once we are done with the APIs, how to do the testing, unit testing, integration testing, and how to set up the integration pipeline, continuous development, continuous integration pipeline, CI/CD, let's call it. We can configure it on the GitLab, your personal GitHub account, and you can use publicly provided GitLab runners from the GitLab, and you can deploy the application on your Heroku account. Okay, we are not talking about here the load balancer thing. We may include that thing in separate course, like you are deploying your application on multiple EC2 instance and there is a load balancer and you are using PM2 process manager to keep your instance up and running. Like there are like 4 core systems you have on AWS. You created a 4 instance on the PM2, 4 instance on another systems, and you are doing load balancing. All those things will be covered. All those fundamental principles that will be covered. Okay, I will start with the bare bone, very basic. My focus is more on the TypeScript Node.js, so I will be using Nest.js. We'll talk about dependency, configuration. First, let's cover these basic things. Then we will talk about the testing. Testing is really very important stuff. How to write the mocking of the services, controllers, how you can mock your repositories, and how you can write unit test and integration end-to-end tests. Okay, so stay tuned. A lot of things are coming in this playlist. I will not say, because it is like a combinations of different things. You might have already be watching my videos on the Nest.js, beginner, advanced, and intermediate. This is something on top of it. Okay, thanks everyone. Thanks for watching. I will be adding the playlist link in the description, so you can log into the playlist and you can watch the rest of the videos.